Hi guys, welcome to our channel or welcome back to our channel. Today we're going to be doing something a little bit different. We're going to be talking to a guest who is one of our old friends from high school, and she has some experiences that we thought would be interesting to hear her perspective on.
So we're going to be doing a story time with our friend Amanda, and we're going to be talking about spooky experiences, like spooky story type of thing, and we're pretty excited.
Hi Amanda.
Hello, everybody.
So we've known Amanda for a while, and she has had a lot of spooky or spiritual, if you will, experiences that we thought it would be interesting to talk about. I was going to say fun, but some people might get spooked, so let's not call it fun. But we're happy to have you, and we're excited to try to relate to what you've had going on throughout your life.
So on my Snapchat, I've been doing those little story times, and last night I did one about being visited in your dreams by loved ones who have passed away, or sometimes people that don't know that just find you in your dreams and need your help to get to wherever it is they are trying to go. Well, I don't know if I can tell the story because I just got really emotional thinking about it because it's about.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
That's
the
so.
first thing that started.
Amanda, that's insane because I was just talking about him with Alex like a few hours ago.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, gosh, that's crazy. Okay, I'm just gonna go ahead and go with it because I actually have a couple different times that he visited me. So yeah, um, the first time that he ever came to me, I was actually writing a paper for English about him. Well, it was about like your experience in high school, your time during high school, and he was the first person that I ever knew to pass away that I was actually like close to. So the writing that paper, that part of the paper, it was kind of hard for me. And I had a CD playing in the radio, and my radio like skipped off from the CD, turned to what's the rock station up there, 93.3, right?
Yeah.
And Tears Don't Fall was playing on the radio,
Oh
which
my
is
gosh.
well, his favorite song, his favorite song. So I thought that was really weird, and I got scared. So I like jumped up off my bed, quit writing, went to go out my bedroom door, and I heard somebody say my name. Like felt like I kind of felt them like their breath in my ear say Amanda, and then kind of laugh a little bit, not like a scary like creepy laugh, like a laugh like haha I got sort of thing. And I freaked out and I ran out of my room. And the first thing I said was I opened my door, I screamed, and my mom was like, "What's wrong?" And I ran down the stairs and I was like, "My is trying to scare me."
Oh my gosh.
So yeah, that was. I mean, I was scared, but then I kind of felt better because it was him. Well, at least I felt like it was him. It couldn't have been. It could have not been, but I felt like it was him for sure.
Yeah.
A little while after that, we were getting back into like the dream thing. We were getting ready to move out of that house into a new one. And the next day, my mom was going to take us to go see our new house. The night before, I had a dream that I was laying in this room that had baby blue walls, like wooden trim. There was like on one of the walls. It was like there was a closet, and then there would be white built-in shelves. In my dream, and I'm laying on my bed, and my bed kind of started moving. I felt like I could like feel my bed moving like in real life though, like not just in my dream. And then this boy kind of like appeared out of nowhere, and I really couldn't see his face, but in my dream I said, "Stop! You're scaring me." And then I woke up because it actually was terrifying. The next day, my mom takes us to go see this house, and she was like, "Oh, Amanda, I thought this could be your room." When she opened the door, it was baby blue walls, white built-in shelves, and then wood trim in the room.
Oh my God.
And I had never seen that house before. I had no idea. So that was really, really scary to me.
Hearing the emotion in your voice, it's making me emotional because with these type of things, you don't always get people who believe you, and I have been through so much myself that feeling, I know exactly what you're feeling now, reliving it all, telling us about it. And a lot of the stuff I keep to myself because people just don't want to listen. So we're always here for you, and I understand the way you feel trying to tell us these stories.
Yeah, and that's a good point too, because it is kind of nerve-wracking to think that I could sound absolutely out of my mind crazy to somebody saying these things.
Well, I
But
don't think you do, because I don't like, I'm not like super in, like, I don't even know if I believe in like most of this stuff, but like when you guys tell me about it, I know you're genuine people, I know like you obviously experience these things. So I know that even though I haven't experienced a lot of that stuff, it's like I know that you guys are being honest and genuine. So it doesn't seem crazy at all. It just seems like you've experienced something that I haven't got to.
right. And honestly, I don't know. I wouldn't wish that on anybody, to be visited by a spirit or experience anything like that, because it is so terrifying, and you don't have the answers for it. Like, you don't know why that's happening, and it's that kind of adds to what you feel in the moment when it happens, because you're scared, you're caught off guard, you don't know, and then you're like, wait, is that even real? So it's like, is my mind playing tricks on me? What's actually going on? But then you kind of like relax, and after the fact, and you think back, and you're like, no, like that did happen to me, and then you have to come to terms with that, and it can be really a scary thing to have to do.
Yeah, I don't think that I could handle it. Like, anyone who's had experiences like that, who somehow like rationalizes it, or like not gets over it but comes to terms with it, like that seems like one of the hardest things in the world to do. I really don't think that I could even handle it.
Yeah, I mean, I sometimes it happens, and I don't know how I'm gonna handle it. Or I don't know how I'm gonna get through it. Like, especially with, if that was his spirit that came to me, because that's somebody who, in my head, in my heart, I think has moved on, has gone to heaven, has, is living a better life, and so it's a little. It kind of makes it a little bit worse that it is something that I knew, because I feel like, why are you here? You shouldn't be here. Like, you're supposed to be in heaven, or what you believe.
Yeah.
And then you feel guilty that you're scared of it, like, because
Right.
I didn't experience a lot of signs from people that I knew that passed on until Nicole passed away, and she sent me every kind of sign you can imagine, and like, it would freak me out at the same time that it was almost comforting.
Right. I know exactly what you mean.
That's why I like hearing your stories, because you have people who have confirmed things for you without them knowing what you're going through. Like, that's why I wanted to get you on one of our videos, is because of your story the other day. About how someone knew what was going on when you never talked to them.
Yeah, that was so bizarre. That whole situation. Oh my gosh, that was scary. And actually, after that, I felt kind of like, when I moved out of that house, I I started to get like really paranoid, really depressed, just like had a lot of weird things. Like I always felt uncomfortable to even be in my own skin. And then one night I had this horrible panic attack where I literally felt like I could hear like somebody screaming, like, but it was all in my head. Like I was convinced that one of my roommates was playing like a violent video game or like watching a scary movie or something, because that's how real this was to me. And I really think that it was just like the ending of whatever it was in that house that my roommates were doing, like whatever they contacted, and then was left just in roaming the house that I used to live in. I think that that was like its last ditch effort to try and get to me. But I was like, no, like this is not okay. But I had some weird stuff happen to me in that house too. Like one day my furniture was all arranged, kind of like in a circle, and I went to work that day, and one of the regulars from work passed away right in front of me, right like during work.
Oh my God.
Yeah, she just fell out of the chair.
That's horrible.
Yep, and then so I was doing my laundry to get ready for work, and I went to my bedroom. Nobody else was at. I lived with 3 other people at the time. Nobody else was home. And I went in my room to like do my makeup. Came back out to switch my laundry from the washer to the dryer. And when I came back out, my furniture was like, it almost looked as if we had like a party, and then everybody like put the furniture to where you could like see everybody, like, you know what I mean? Like,
oh, that's
literally
creepy.
in a circle. And then I went to work that day, and that woman passed away in front of me.
That's so scary.
So yeah, that was really, really weird. And my back door was open too, like to my patio, which I thought was really strange too, because that door is almost always locked.
I almost started crying. Okay, so I've never heard someone with the same type of experience story as what I experienced back in November. I can't name any names or give detail. I apologize, but someone I'm very close with contacted me because there was an emergency and they were trying to call 911, accidentally called me. I rushed over there, and this person was like pretty much dead on the floor, and all of the furniture in the living room was rearranged, and the person who had called me had no clue how the furniture got rearranged. And like, the person wasn't dead. 911 came. Everything ended up being okay for a little while, but hear someone else go through a similar experience, now I'm really freaked out.
Yeah, that was a really, really weird experience for me. And when that happened, I kind of felt, because I was in such an emotionally unstable state of mind too, just with things that had like been going on in my life in general. I think that whatever it was that my previous roommates had contacted kind of tried to like attach itself to me, and I was like, no, like I can't have that. You have to go. You have to leave me alone. And after that, like, I literally said that, and then nothing happened to me in that regard after that day.
So just to clear it for the viewers, your roommates had been using a Ouija board, right?
Yeah, they were using a Ouija board in the house. I didn't know that they were using it at first. I didn't even know that we had one at our house. But when I saw it, I was like, hey guys, like, I don't care what you do on your own free time, but please don't use this in our house, because it can be really dangerous. And the people that I live with, they kind of just like laughed it off. Like, they didn't really believe anything that I had to say, but they were just kind of weird anyway. Like, they just kind of gave me weird vibe. So I guess they had used the Ouija board in our house to contact like a relative that had passed away, and instead they contacted something that definitely was not the relative, like more of a negative entity, I guess I should say, spirit, and it did not like me at all because I have such a strong faith in God. That's what I was told. And I didn't learn any of this until I moved out of, right before I moved out of that house. When somebody in my family came to me and they said that they had something to tell me, and literally told me all of that without even knowing anything that I had gone through while living there in that house, which I thought was super strange. I was kind of just like, how do you know this? Like that's weird in itself, but it was all true, everything that she had said to me. So I don't know how she found out. I don't know how she knew it, but she just came to me and said, "Hey, this is what's going on in your house, and I'm sorry to scare you, but it is what it is, basically."
Yeah, that's really crazy. When I read your post, I like, if, like, it sounded like there's absolutely no way she could have known. I mean, if you
Mhm.
didn't tell her anything. So it's like at that point you had to be like, holy shit, this is really happening, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. I mean, I would hear my name like being whispered like every single night while I was trying to sleep. And I just kind of had like an uneasy feeling being there in general, but never in my room, more so like in other areas of the house. And nothing even started happening until my two roommates, until their boyfriend and their girlfriend moved in. That's when things started like being weird in that house. And then like after the fact, after my aunt came to me and was like, "Hey, this is what's going on." She even said to me, "Oh, it's not the people that you originally moved in with. It's the boyfriend and the girlfriend that moved in after that."
So they must have brought like bad vibes with them.
Well, okay, so they had told me that they had a friend that was a Satanist.
Oh my god.
And now, like, I know that the word Satanist is scary, but it doesn't. Satanism, the religion itself, it doesn't like worship the devil, like worship Satan.
Yeah.
It's basically more like anarchists, like don't believe in laws, like nothing in it says like, oh, you need to harm this, you need to go and like sacrifice a goat or whatever, like whatever your view of Satanism is. That's not what it is. It's just like live your life for you, like don't believe in anything, like that sort of thing.
Yeah,
But people get
like
that confused with, oh, I'm a Satanist, so I worship the devil.
the Church of Satanism, like their tenets or whatever, are actually like pretty good. I think if most people read them, they would be like, "Oh yeah, like there's nothing wrong with that." What scares me more is like the people who don't really subscribe to all those things that just, say they're Satanist and, like think it's cool to like do like, like to do the things that everyone would think a
Right,
Satanist would do.
right. Which is, I guess, according to the person in my family who came to me and told me everything, is what these two people that I used to live with were doing. She told me specifically that there were videos on their phones. And I don't know what she means by that. I didn't ask to see their phones, and I didn't even want to know, like, what she saw was on them in her mind or however she found out about what was going on with me in that house. But that's what she said to me. So I assume, actually, I don't even want to assume. I don't want to know what they were up to,
Yeah.
but it definitely wasn't good, whatever it was.
Yeah, I usually don't like get too freaked out about that kind of stuff, but I've had a friend tell me before that they were, like getting into things like that, and
Mm-hmm.
it just was such a like bad vibe. Like I didn't even want to know about it or anything.
No, it is. It's definitely a scary especially when you just hear the word Satanist or Satanism. It definitely does come with a lot of negative energy and just it's scary. It's scary when you hear that word. I don't even like to really talk about it, but
Well, and things of, they'll feed on fear, and they feed on depression. And so being in a situation where you're being scared, it's only going to open you up to become more scared or have something, come at you. I don't know, my wording's not right, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Yes, no, I know exactly what you're trying to say. If you're already in a state of mind where you're emotionally not doing well, or you've just gone through a tremendous loss, or your boyfriend or your girlfriend broke up with you, or your best friend doesn't want to be friends with you anymore, or whatever it may be, it's a lot easier for negative energy to come to you. If you're putting out negative vibes, that's what you're going to get. If you're a happy person who just lives their life, doesn't let anything bother them, is carefree, that kind of thing is going to be attracted to you. If you're a person who has no hate in their heart and is depressed and can't find happiness in anything, that's all you're going to get in life is negativity. I haven't actually had any, I guess, spiritual encounters in a while. Actually, probably since Halloween. When somebody on Halloween, I heard somebody laugh in my ear, and I was just like, I felt like it was who we were talking about earlier. I felt like it was, but since Halloween, nothing like that has happened to me. So thank gosh. Hopefully it doesn't, because I would really rather live my life without it.
So one thing that's really interesting is back when we were hanging out a lot, and I started hearing Alex was out of town, and I started hearing those noises in the attic, like something walking around, I talked to you about it, and you told me, like, I had been watching all these scary YouTube videos and stuff, like staying up till 4 in the morning, and you told me, like, stop doing that, Britt. Like, what are you doing? So I did, and the noises, when Alex came home, they stopped, like, right away. And I haven't really thought about it. And then about like a week ago, in the middle of the night, we got woken up because there was a huge bang in the attic. And then, yeah, and it scared the crap out of us. And then we were up until like 3 in the morning, and I had to get up for work, and we just couldn't go back to sleep because every time we would start falling back asleep, there was another bang in the attic. So I was thinking, I was like going through my head trying to figure out, like, what have I been doing? Like, have I been inviting these things,
Yeah, I remember that night, Britt. Actually, I remember it. Yeah, because you had said that you were watching like conspiracy theories and like ghost story times and stuff like that on YouTube, and then you were like, "Oh yeah, I started hearing stuff at home," and I'm like, "Well, you should stop watching that kind of thing, because when you talk about it or when you're entertaining the idea, that's when it's most likely to come to you for sure."
Yeah, and it was really bad when Alex wasn't home because I would not be able to sleep until like 5 in the morning sometimes because it was like it would just keep me up all night.
Yeah, and that's something that can happen a lot too, is like insomnia.
Oh,
Because
yeah.
you feel so uncomfortable, like being alone, and you get so scared, and then you kind of like heighten your ability to sense something like that, like out of the ordinary, like another energy in the room with you. Even though you can't see what it is, you feel like something's there, and that causes a lot of insomnia too. And then when you're not sleeping and when you're kind of having like more negative thoughts, watching more negative things, even if it's not like consciously, it's easier to attract something more negative like that to you.
Oh, yeah. Well, and then I don't know what it is with my attic, but I always have weird stuff like a while after that, after it had stopped. Alex left again, and I started getting like freaked out and stuff. And one night I called Angelica, and she came and got me. And she had Silas with her, and he was like, "What's wrong, Aunt Britt? Like, why are you afraid?" You know, he was asking me what was happening, and I was like sitting there trying to think of how to tell like a little kid why I was so scared. And
Right.
before I said anything, he said something about the other me living in the attic. And oh my god, I could not sleep for so long.
That is so terrifying.
Yeah, he said that she watches me through the vents. I was like, Silas, you gotta stop. I'm never gonna be able to sleep again.
Oh my god. I would
And
be so scared.
Yeah.
it's so pretty because ever since he was like able to talk, he's seen weird things. And a couple of months ago, we had a psychic medium. He came up to me and told me, "Hey, there's a man hanging from the tree in your mom's yard." Well, 5 years ago, Silas was playing outside, ran up to the neighbor and told her, "Hey, there's a man hanging from the tree and he doesn't have a head."
Oh
So,
my gosh, that's so scary.
yeah.
Ugh, that's so scary. But actually, children are a lot more in tune to see what isn't there, to feel the presence of something that maybe you or I can't, because their imagination is already so open, and they're already so open to just like learning whatever they can about life, that when they see something, like if we see a shadow, we're going to tell ourselves, oh, it's just a shadow, but maybe it's not, maybe it's something more than that. But when a little kid sees a shadow, they're going to look at it and they're going to be like, oh, what's that? And then they're going to notice things like that more, because that's just how their mind is made. So it's interesting that that happened, but it's also really terrifying, because on the other side of that, things that don't have I guess a more, I don't want to say this because Angelica, you have kids and I don't want to scare you, but um, it's a lot easier for something negative to try to come in, influence them too. So, you know, he said, oh, the other Brit that's in the attic that watches you, like, you don't know, that could be something like negative, or it could be something that's just there, that doesn't really mean to harm anybody or scare anybody, but it's a child, so they're more likely to see it than one of us.
Yeah.
Yeah, he has scared Britt a lot over the years. Me too.
But also, it could just be his imagination. I mean, like I said, like, kids are like sponges, so anything, like, he could have been watching like a YouTube video or something and then heard somebody say that, you know what I mean?
That's what
And
I
then
tell
just ran with
myself.
it.
That's how I like got over the fear. I'm like, he's just screwing with me.
Yeah. So I don't know, but it's definitely scary though, for sure.
Okay, do you have any other stories you wanted to say?
Oh, I mean, I can't really I have so many things that have happened to me or my family. But if you guys have any questions about anything that we talked about so far, I could definitely answer them.
My question is, have you ever like, I don't know how to phrase this, I guess. What is like the scariest presence you've ever felt? Like, has there ever been a time where you just knew it was like something not good?
Yes. It was when I was really young, and I would see this. I don't even know how to describe it, because like I feel like I could tell you what it looked like all day long, but you would never be able to picture it. But basically, like, almost like a gremlin type thing in this house that we lived in a long time ago. I mean, I would have been really young, probably like 2 or 3 years old, probably like 3 at the most. But I still can see this thing like in my head to this day, and it freaked me out for years. Like I haven't got over it, but it's like this thing, and it would just be in like the window, like sitting in the window, talking to me. Just talking to me, I can't really remember like things that it would say to me, but my cousin saw it too when she was really little, and she called it her friend.
Oh my gosh.
But it definitely was not a friend. I mean, at the time, I was so young, I didn't know like what was good and what was evil. But now that I look back at it, and now that I've been told other stories by my family about this house that we lived in during that time, like I know that it was something just absolutely evil.
Yeah, that's
and it
super
would
scary.
it would really bother the little kids. But like the adults in my family at that time have said that while we lived in this house, which if I could literally do a whole video with you guys just on that house because so many things happened there. But they said that while we lived there, they would have just really negative thoughts, be depressed all the time. Like my aunt's husband at the time thought that she was actually losing her mind.
Oh my gosh.
Because he would come home from work and she would just be terrified, like all day. And actually, one day she told us she was doing the laundry there, and she saw something by like the furnace down in the basement in the laundry room, and I am very confident that what she saw down there is what I would see a lot all the time in the windows when I was little.
Yeah, that's really scary.
Yeah, so I did some research on Belleville. This house is in Belleville, and I did some research on it, and there's a cemetery there where this witch is buried. They call her like the Belleville witch, and I guess she was really cruel to children.
Well, and that's what would freak me out the most is I don't think I'd be super scared if I saw like a ghost of someone I knew maybe, or if I see something like that, I at least want it to be like a human. Like it would scare me so bad to see something that's like not even human.
No, it definitely is scary. And especially like when you're dreaming and you see something that's terrifying and it's not human, because like they've said you can't see, there's nothing that you can see in your dreams that you haven't seen in real life.
Yeah.
Which freaks me out so bad because like there's this thing, I'm literally just gonna call it a thing because I don't know what else to call it, that I've seen in my dreams more than once that is just like absolutely terrifying. And I'm like, is this what I saw when I was younger maybe?
I actually, so even though I haven't experienced a lot of like, I've never seen a ghost or anything like that, there was an apartment that we lived in when Alex and I first got together, and we both had really bad sleep paralysis like the whole time that we lived there. And so I think that's like the closest I've ever came to having like a kind of like spiritual experience. And it was so scary. Like one night I woke up and I was sitting up, and Alex was like looking at me like horrified, and I thought he was screwing with me. So I started like punching him, saying like knock it off, and come to find out the reason he was so scared is because I was chanting in my sleep. Like he woke up.
I remember you telling me about this.
Yeah, and like that freaks me out so bad because it was like I don't even know how to explain it. Like I didn't have control of it, like that scared me. And as soon as we moved, the sleep paralysis stopped. And I've never had it before that, and I don't have it anymore. So it was like, and all of our friends said that apartment had like weird vibes.
Yeah, I've never experienced sleep paralysis. I mean, there's been times where I've had dreams where it was hard to like wake up from, or where I felt like I was awake, but I was still asleep. But I've never experienced that to the point where I'm like seeing something like when I'm clearly awake and like feeling another presence in the room.
For me, it was I never saw anything, but I would just like it was like I was watching myself sleep and I could feel something evil, like, and it felt like it was getting closer and closer, but I never would see anything. But it I could just feel it like in the room and getting closer and closer, and I couldn't wake myself up.
Yeah, I've read a lot about sleep paralysis, and a lot of people say that they didn't see it, but that they could feel it. And almost every story that I've read about sleep paralysis, everybody describes it as evil.
Yeah,
That's the feeling that they get.
yeah, that's like the only way I can think of to describe it.
Yeah, when it happens to me, Zach has to like try hard to wake me up because I can hear him, and inside I'm screaming as loud as I can, but all he hears is me going, my mouth is shut and I'm like making this throat noise, but in my head I'm screaming so loud, just trying to stop being held down. I can't move my body or anything. And it's really frightening. And really quick, I wanted to back up to where you said the thing you saw as a kid, you described it as like a gremlin, because from the research I done, when children see something from like afterlife, beyond, whatever, they can't always process that it's a human. So they see it in weird ways. Like there had been a child who said he saw a monkey at the end of the hallway because to him, that's what his imagination was processing, even though it was the spirit.
Oh.
That's interesting. Yeah, I never heard that before. And that's really interesting too, because my cousin, who had also like seen things in this house, she wasn't even old enough to walk, and somehow, while we were sleeping, she made it up the stairs and into this little, like in the closet there was like a little door, like almost like an extra like storage space, and my aunt woke up and noticed that my cousin wasn't by her and heard her like upstairs talking, and went upstairs and found her in this little storage cellar in the closet. And my cousin describes what she saw as a dog.
Oh my
So
gosh.
that maybe it was the same thing, but we just saw it differently.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's crazy.
No, I'm so scared of them little doors. You don't even know.
There was one in that house. There was one in the. You were there when Tara was there, right?
Yeah.
So you know how she had the room that was like upstairs, like that big loft area? She had one of those doors, I'm pretty sure, up there.
See, yeah. I'm lucky we didn't have that part of the house when we lived there, because them little doors freak me out so bad.
She found her upstairs in the closet, in one of those little doors in the closet, talking.
Yeah,
And
that
she
is
wasn't
so
even old
creepy.
enough to walk.
Oh my god.
Yeah. So that's really scary.
I would have shit my pants.
Yeah.
I was like,
Oh yeah, when my aunt, because we always will like get together and tell scary stories. Everybody has to be in the mood for it though. And sometimes like we'll start telling stories and then we'll be like, okay, we have to stop because we're gonna scare ourselves. And it's like it's scary to think back and like relive it. But when my aunt tells that, she like you can tell how afraid she like felt in that moment because it comes out when she tells that story. Even my older brother that doesn't really believe in a lot of this stuff, like experience things that he can't explain while living there.
Jel, did you have any questions?
I don't really have questions because I'm blown away that someone has gone through things that I've gone through. So I'm just like soaking it all in.
Well, thank you guys so much for having me. Hopefully I cleared some things up for you or answered some questions. I hope I didn't scare you too bad.
No, I've been thinking like, okay, hopefully weird stuff doesn't start happening, or now I'm gonna like be freaked out because I feel like now I'll be thinking about it, but But no, I think that was good.
Yeah, just you should be fine. Just light a candle, have like a green tea after you're done editing, or if you're gonna do it tonight or whatever, and then go watch like a makeup tutorial or something, so that you don't think about like spooky shit.
Yeah. Okay, well, thanks for being on, Amanda.
All right, guys, thanks so much for having me. It was nice talking to you.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
was good seeing ya.
Okay, have a good night.
Bye.
Bye. So that is all we have time for today, guys. Thank you, Amanda, for joining us. It was really nice to have a guest again. It's been a while. If you have any questions or a scary, spooky story of your own, feel free to get a hold of us, and we'll get back to you.
And thanks so much for watching. Please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and we'll see you guys next time. Bye.